So the focus now is on building or rebuilding their national infrastructure, resulting in a positive impact on the global steel industry. While over $1 trillion set aside for India's infrastructure budget, I am confident that India's path to being recognized as a global economic powerhouse is paved in steel. I also see a strong new role for India as the factory of the world, as the world pursues alternatives to China as its global factory. We are the front runners in replacing this East Asian giant, given our skilled manpower, accompanied by our abundant natural resources and access to quality raw material. This new role for the country in the global supply chain will not only push the required industrialization, but also accelerate economic growth for our country. The government has set a target to increase the share of manufacturing sector in the national GDP to 25% by 2025 and to achieve 300 million tons per annum of steel production by 2030. This entails that multifold growth in steel production will be needed. While this sounds ambitious, this is not unattainable. We as an industry are at an inflection point, driven by a favorable shift in global supply and demand, as well as a large local appetite, thus ensuring sustainable growth. I also have no doubt that the steel industry will be able to match, if not exceed, the expectations set for its contribution to the Indian GDP due to the investments in capacity additions, innovations, and introductions in cost-efficient and green technologies. As India's largest steel producers today, we at JSW Steel are adding capacity at an unprecedented rate. Our planned expansion over the next 4 years is equivalent or more than the capacity that we have achieved over the last 2 decades. While all this while also keeping sustainability at the core of our operations, ensuring that all our growth is complemented by conscious efforts towards sustainable manufacturing in a most cost-effective, less resource-intensive manner. We are also working towards increasing our dependence on renewable energy for all our requirements. While committed to contributing to the Indian steel industry and national economy, we are also committed to building a future for our communities that is safe, secure, and healthy. The first step towards developing globally competitive steelmaking capabilities lies in achieving self-sufficiency through continued backward and forward integration. This could be achieved through a few simple but assertive steps forward that will also ensure sustainable growth of Indian steel industry. Firstly, policy support is required not just to stimulate domestic demand, but also to create a level playing field and in turn attract further investments. Secondly, raw material security, especially that of coking coal, is key, simply because currently the only commercially viable way of producing steel from iron ore is by using fossil fuels such as coking coal as reducing agents. Thirdly, reducing depends on imports of coking coal from a few sources such as Australia, United States, and Canada. The government has taken some focused measures under the National Steel Policy to mitigate the risk of import dependency by facilitating acquisitions of overseas assets and by exploring alternative, reliable and cheaper supplies. We still have a long way to go in making the steel industry in India self-sufficient. Recently, while speaking at the COP26 summit, our Honorable Prime Minister pledged to net zero program, India achieving zero emission rate by 2070. This is the first time India has set a target on climate action. As one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gases globally, the steel industry has a crucial role to play in achieving this target. While the steel industry accounts for 0.7% of world's economic output, the industry contributes 7% towards global emissions. So just 0.7% of the GDP of the world is provided by steel industry, and 7% of the global emissions. This needs to change and needs to change fast. Curtailing carbon emissions will require major upgradation at the steel mills, and the initiative will have to be taken at the industry as well as at the policy level. We will need an entirely new transformative approach in doing this. Point number one is that we have to be using carbon capture, utilization, and storage (CCUS) with the existing fossil fuel based iron making, which is basically using the blast furnace and BOF route. Number two is substituting hydrogen for carbon as a reductant. So that is another very interesting proposition where we can introduce hydrogen in the blast furnace or in the DRI facility to convert to do work as a reducent. Number three is using renewable electrical energy for all the requirement in the steel plant. With the deployment of best available technologies, low carbon steel making would become competitive with respect to conventional methods. While the transition period may involve high initial capital cost as well as OPEX costs, proactive government support through well-designed policy will ensure that the industry is not discouraged from making this transition. Viable green steel production could be more than a decade away, even though several of the world's major steel makers, including us at JSW, are actively developing plans to adopt the process to meet carbon neutral goals. In this context, switching to clean hydrogen seems to be the most likely immediate or short-term solution to get to net zero. And while the prices of renewable electricity and green hydrogen are falling fast, the capital cost of setting up new plants and shutting down the old ones, I foresee, will be a major barrier to change. However, a sustainable transition will not only come about on its own. We collectively have the responsibility to take some bold steps towards developing sustainable solutions. As I said when I started this address, we in the steel industry are in the midst of exciting times, and we will have to work together as an industry to ensure that we capitalize on the growth opportunities available to us while building a brighter and cleaner future for all. While we do this, in my opinion, we have a great future for the steel industry, for rebuilding the industry, because not only in India, this will be happening globally, and India could drive it from the front, because India is at a stage where we are developing the steel industry. Right now we are 110 million ton capacity, but we have to go to 300 million tons. So we can build the whole industry with the new ideas, new ways of reducing the carbon content in our system. So friends, thank you very much once again. Especially thanks to Mr. Rana Som and to BCC and I for inviting me for today's program. I wish the entire Minerals and Metals to do extremely well and to do all the best to the seminar. Thank you very much.